Hello everyone, my name is Olaoluwa and I'll be your piano tutor for this course. In this course, we'll be discussing the introduction to the piano, we'll be discussing the alphabet of the piano, the number system, we'll be discussing the key changes, we'll be discussing semitone and whole tone, we'll be discussing major and minor triads, I'll be discussing a few progressions that you guys can use to get along. I promise that at the end of this tutorial, you'll be equipped with the necessary knowledge to handle a piano and to play fluently. Alright, so first of all, we are going to start with the alphabet of the piano. We have 7 alphabets in the piano, 7 of them. So the first one is C, second one is D, then we have E, then we have F, then we have G, then we have A, then we have B. Do you get that? Let me come again. We have C, we have D, we have E, we have F, we have G, we have A, we have B. So when you count this, it is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 alphabets on the keyboard. Now, I know some of you might be asking that, what about the black keys? Don't worry, we'll get there soon. These 7 alphabets form what we call a octave. What is an octave? An octave is the distance between an alphabet and the alphabet on a higher degree. The difference between one alphabet on the piano and another alphabet in a higher degree. That means when we have C, we have D, we have E, F, G, A, B. Then we'll get back to C. So the difference between this C and this C here is what we call an octave. Now, before we even go into all that, how do you identify a C? Or how do you identify that this is a C, this is a A note, or this is a E note? First of all, the trick to identification is the C is always the white note before the 2 black keys. So when you look at the keyboard, you see a progression of black keys, 3 blacks, 2 blacks, 3 blacks, 2 blacks, 3 blacks, 2 blacks, 3 blacks, 2 blacks. Now the C is always before the white note, before the 2 black keys. Do you get that? The C note. This is the C note. It means that this is also a C note. It means that this is also a C note. This is also a C note. This is also a C note. Is always before the 2 black keys. Good. Now, another one that you can easily identify is the F note. The F note is usually before the 3 black notes, The 3 black notes, the white notes before them is usually the F note. So having known all this, you can easily identify a C note, which is the one before the 2 black notes. Then you know that the next note to it is the D. The next note is the E. The next note is the F. Next one is the G. Next one is the A. Next one is the B. Do you get that? Good. Now that I've understood the basics of how many notes we have and how they are positioned on the keys, we'll move to the difference between a semitone and a tone. A semitone and a tone. I know you might be wondering, these are new terms and you don't really understand. Don't worry. I'll break it down to you. Now, a semitone is the distance between 2 notes that are together. The distance between 2 notes that are together. What do I mean? This is a C, right? This is a C. the distance between this C and the next note, which is this black note, is called a semitone. This is a semitone. Now, a full tone is the distance between two notes, leaving one note in the middle. What do I mean? The distance between C and this black note is called a semitone. Now, the distance between C and D, leaving this black note out, is called a tone. Let me come again. The distance between C and this black note is called a semitone, while the distance between this note and these other white notes, leaving these black notes in between, is a full tone. So you can say a semitone is a half tone, while the full tone is a whole tone. A whole tone meaning you are leaving a whole tone in between them, a whole note between them. But a semitone is an half tone, meaning you are not leaving any note in between the two notes. Do you understand that? Very good. All right. At this point, we'll be talking about sharps and flats. Sharps and flats. I'm sure you might have heard this before. Different sharps, different flats. These are really simple. Sharp is a semitone higher, while flat is a semitone lower. A sharp is a semitone higher, while a flat is a semitone lower. Good. Now that we understand the alphabet and how they are placed on the keyboard, when you take a C note and you take a semitone a step ahead, which is this black note, then that is the sharp of the C note. Do you understand what I mean? This is a C note. We know that a sharp is a semitone higher. And we know that a semitone is the difference between two notes that are placed together without leaving any note in between them. So, if this is C, and we're looking for C sharp, that means a semitone higher than C, which is without leaving any notes in between them. That means this black note will be called C sharp, of course. C sharp, which is a sharp above C. Very good. Now, flat is a semitone lower. A semitone lower. We know that. Let's take another note for example. This is C, right? This is D. This is E. This is F. This is G. Let's take G for example. G. When we are looking at G flat, for example, we know that flat is a semitone lower, right? So, this is G. What will our G flat be? To be lowering these notes by a semitone. Now, this is referred to as G flat. So, consequentially, all the black notes on the piano are either referred to in their sharps or in their flats. All the black notes on the piano are referred to in their sharps or in their flats. For example, this is C major. This is C. When you add a semitone, which is a sharp, upwards, it becomes C sharp. It becomes C sharp. Now, note that this is a D note. When you bring it down a semitone, which is a flat, this becomes D flat. So this particular note shares two names, which is C sharp and D flat, because taking it up a semitone from C will make it C sharp, and bringing it down a semitone from D will make it D flat. I hope I'm not confusing you. Very well. Consequentially, we know that all the notes here, all the black notes, are sharps and flats. Good. If this is C sharp and D flat, this note definitely has to be D sharp or E flat. D sharp or E flat. D sharp or E flat. Very good. Now, because of this, E and F are semitone apart. It means there is no note in between them. E does not have a sharp. E does not have a sharp. Then we'll move to F. A semitone higher from F will be called F sharp, which is also a semitone lower, that is flat, from G, which can be called G flat. Moving to this, a semitone higher from G is called G sharp, and a semitone lower from A is called A flat. A semitone higher from A is called A sharp, and a semitone lower from B is called B flat. Now, we know that all these black keys are known by their sharps and flats. Consequentially, they share two names. This can be called C sharp or D flat. This can be called D sharp or E flat. This can be called F sharp or G flat. This can be called G sharp or A flat. This can be called A sharp or B flat. Very good. Now, knowing all this, we know the interaction between the white notes and the black notes. The next thing to understand is what we call the diatonic scale. The diatonic scale. What's the diatonic scale? A diatonic scale is a scale that consists 5 whole tone and 2 semitone in an octave. I'll repeat myself. A diatonic scale is a scale that contains 5 whole tone and 2 semitone in an octave. For example, let's start our diatonic scale from the key of C. We know that a whole tone is the key, is the interval between two notes, leaving one note in between. Yeah? For example, this is C. The formula for a diatonic scale is tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. You will understand what I'm saying when I'm done. Alright. Let's start from C. Let's take a tone. That is, we'll skip a black note. Then this is a tone. Good. Then we'll skip another black note, which is a tone. Remember, the formula is tone, tone, semitone. That means we've used two tones. Now we need to use a semitone. If it were to be a tone, we'll leave this white note and go to this black. But no, we are using a semitone. So from here, we move to the next note, which is a semitone. So we've used tone, tone, semitone. Now we have tone, 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 semitone, which is from F here to, we'll leave a note to come here, which is a tone. We leave another note to come here, which is a tone. We leave another tone to a note to come here, which is a tone. And the last one is a semitone, which is the difference between this and the next notes. So using this formula, we are able to create our diatonic scale, which is I'll go over that again. Very good. This is also known to many as the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. This formula will guide you to create this particular scale on any key of the keyboard. For example, let's move to the key of F. We are strange on the key of F. We've never played on the key of F before. How do we get our diatonic scale on the key of F? We use the formula tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Now, this is F. All we need to do is use the first tone, which is omitting one note, which is the black note, and going to the second. Another tone, leaving one black note, going to the third. Now, we have a semitone to use now. If we were to use a tone, we would have gone from to this. But it's a semitone. We need to go to the next note, which is this. So we have Are we together? Very good. Now from here, we need to use a tone. We'll omit this white note and go to the next note. We leave this note again and go to the next note. We omit this one tone and go to the other note. And then the last semitone. Very good. So on F, using the formula tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, we have tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Now, using this formula, you can get your do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do on any key that you might want to play on. This is the diatonic scale. For example, let's use the key of C sharp. The key of D. The key of E flat. The key of E. The key of F. The key of F sharp. The key of G. The key of G sharp. The key of A. The key of B flat. The key of B. Very good. Now, the next thing is to understand how to play this with your both ends. How to play this with your both ends. For this particular lesson, I'll be using C as an example. Now, this is your 1 on your left, your 2, your 3, your 4, and your 5. I go again. Your 1, your 2, your 3, your 4, and your 5. This is your 1, your 2, your 3, your 4, and your 5 on your right hand. Your 1, your 2, your 3, your 4, and your 5. Very good. Now for the left hand, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. I'll go slower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. For the right hand, you have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll go again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. Now you need to practice them differently in order to gain synergy. First, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. The major challenge in this exercise is to know when to turn the hand. You are turning on the 5, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you turn 3, 4, 5. And on the right, you turn on the 3 instead of the 5 on the left. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, sorry. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. Now, you need to practice this over and over again so that your hand can synergize with the keys. On the right. Now, knowing these two, the goal is to be able to play them together at the same time and gain independence with your both hands. Knowing that you are crossing on the 5 on the left and you are crossing on the 3 on the right. I'll go slow. Very good. One thing you might need to consider is ascending and descending. I just taught you the ascending. Then let's go right again. Good. And you might need to descend. Again. Very good. Very good. Now, understanding how to play these on different keys is also important. For example, on C sharp. Sorry. On D. On different keys. All right. Now that we understand the diatonic scale and what it stands for, what are the other things that we need to know to proceed in our piano learning? I'll say another thing you need to know is called the triads. What is a triad? A triad is a stack of chords, 3 notes. A stack of 3 notes. For example, I pick a C note, I pick a D sharp note, and I pick a G note. When I play these 3 at the same time, I get a triad from the word 3. Triad. I get a triad from the word 3. Now, triads, as we all know that, they are stack of 3 notes. Stack of 3 notes. What we need to do is to differentiate between the notes we'll be playing. For example, a 1, your 3 and your 5. is a major triad. Sorry, I forgot to explain what the number system is. Let me just run that through you. Alright, this is 1. Your C note is your 1. Whatever key you are playing in, the notes of that key is your 1. Then the next note is your 2. Then we have your 3. Then we have your 4. Then we have your 5. We have your 6. We have your 7. And back to the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Very good. Now, your major triad is going to consist of your 1, your 3, and your 5. Now, your 1, your 3, and your 5, which is the odd numbers. I mean, 1, 3, and 5. This is called the C major. Very good. The C major. Now, there are major and minor triads. I just showed you the major triad. This is a major triad. Another thing you might need to consider is that the diatonic scale that we mentioned earlier, which is the diatonic scale, is also called the major scale. The diatonic scale is also called the major scale. Now, what do I mean? This is the major scale. Another scale that you will need to understand is the minor scale, which is 1, your 2, your flat 3, your 4, your 5, your flat 6, your flat 7, and back to your 1. So, your minor third, your minor scale is I'll go over that again. 1, 2, flat 3. You know that this is your 3 normally, but you are flattening it. This is going to be flattened. We know what a flat is. It's semitone lower. So when we play 1, 2, I'll flatten our 3. It's going to be this. I'll play our 4, our number 4, our number 5. Then we'll flatten our 6, which is supposed to be this. We'll flatten it to this. And we'll play our flattened 7th. And back to 1. So, the understanding of the major and the minor chords will contribute to the knowledge. The understanding of the major and the minor scales will contribute to your knowledge of the major and the minor chords. The major chords is formed by the 1, the 3, and the 5. Now, the minor chords, based on the minor scale, which is formed by the 1, the flat 3, and the 5. So this is the major chord. This is the minor chord. I'm sure you have heard one of these before. Alright. How do we benefit from the major and the minor chords? Very good. Knowing that we understand our major scale, which is C major, is going to be 1, 3, and 5. Good. I need you to understand that your 1, which is your C in this case scenario, is major. Your 2 is minor. Your 3 is minor. Your 4 is major. Your 5 is major. Your 6 is minor. Your 7 is diminished. And your 1 is also major. What do I mean? I don't mean to confuse you. Just follow me. Now, this is C major. Right? According to the tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone scale, if we're supposed to play a 2 for C major, it is supposed to be from this on the D scale. It's supposed to be this. But because it is a minor, it will be this. And that goes for all the minor on the key. So we have major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, major. I'll go over that again. We have major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, back to major. Very well. Now, what are the consequences of this major and minor on the key of C? These are the chords, the triads of the key of C. This triad is major, this triad is minor, this triad is minor, this triad is major, this triad is major, another minor triad, a diminished triad, and back to our major triad, which is on the C. Alright. These major triads will enable us to play our normal songs, our normal simple songs. For example, the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. So I just used the major triads on the key of C. C major triad, go to the 4, which is the F major triad, go back to the C major triad, and go back to the G major triad. So we have twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. So one exercise you need to do is to get these triads acquainted with your fingers. On the C key, all you need to do is to move them step by step on the white keys. Very well. Now that we understand the triads on the key of C, the next thing we need to understand is what we call inversions. Inversions. Now, what are inversions? For example, this is a C major triad. Right? Inversion is rearranging the notes of a chord or a triad in this particular situation. We know that C major triad is 1, 3, and 5. Now, from 1, 3, and 5, since there's another 1 here, which is a higher octave of the 1 here, there's a C here, there's a C here. I can choose to take this C out and play the one up. That will give me this, which gives me more of an open sound, because this is a bit clustered and this is a bit open. This is also C major because it has the C, the E, and the G, but it is inverted. It is shifted to another octave. I mean the C notes. Now, that is referred to as the first inversion. The first inversion. Very good. I'll try to play with the first inversion of C and C, if you get what I'm saying. Now, with the same song, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. I'll go again. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Very well. Now, we've talked about the first inversion, which is taking your root note, which is your C, up an octave, and that will give you this. Another thing to understand is the second inversion, which is taking your first two notes, instead of taking only the first one, taking the first two notes and taking them up the octave, which is maintaining this G here, playing the C on the upper octave, and playing the E on the upper octave. So instead of playing this, I can play this and still be correct. This is also a C major triad. Very well. Now, using the two inversions in the song Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, here's what it will sound like. How I wonder what you are. Again. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. One more time. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Very good. Now that we understand the inversions and how they can space up our playing, as opposed to what we did earlier. Now, using the versions, we have Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Very good. One exercise you might need to take is to take a major triad or a minor triad, as it may be, and check the inversions down the keyboard. What do I mean? Your C major triad, take the first inversion, take the second inversion, back to the roots. Take the first inversion, second inversion, back to the root. Take the first inversion, take the second inversion, back to the root. Take the first inversion, take the second inversion. What this does is it gives you flexibility to work throughout the board. It gives you flexibility to work, to create your own notes. Flexibility. Now, the next thing we will talk about is how to play inversions with both ends, with your left and with your right. For example, sticking with our Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, we have your left hand. You need to do this, the same exercise with your right hand, which is very good. Now, we might need to try a couple of other songs in order to get you acquainted with these major and minor triads that I've introduced to you. For example, this is a popular song by Sinach, Waymaker. Let's try that. The song, for example, does not start on the 1. It starts on the 4. So, using the root notes triad without using the inversions, this is how I will play Waymaker. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Using just root notes without inversions. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. One more time. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Now, I'm starting on the 4, which is 4, 1, then 6, which is a minor chord. 4, 1, then going back to 5, 6, minor chord. Now let's try to make it better by using our inversions. Now, understanding this, we know the difference between major triad, minor triad, and how we apply them to songs. One other thing you might need to do is move this to different keys. Of course, after this video, with your own piano, construct your major chords and your minor chords, depending on the key you are. For example, let's move to the key of G. G being our 1. Now, this is our 1, our 2, our 3, our 4, 5, 6, 7, back to 1. Do you get that? Our 1, our 2, our 3, our 4, our 5, our 6, our 7, back to 1. Now, if I want to play Waymaker on the key of G, my approach is similar to the key of C, because all I need to know is what my 4 chord is, what my 1 chord is, what my 5 chord is, and what my 6 chord is. For example, let's play it in root position like we did earlier. Miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Very good. So the understanding of what forms our major and our minor chords can translate to different keys on the keyboard. Let's use inversions on the key of G with our Waymaker. We have all I did here was to move the chord in inversions around the keyboard. That's why I said one exercise you need to do is get your major chord, move it around the keyboard in inversions. Get your minor chord, move them around the keyboard in inversions. Are we there? Very well. Now, knowing that we can play songs with our notes. For example, let's go back to the key of C. The left hand is mainly for holding your chords, which is like this. But most times it gets muddy holding major chords in the root position like this. So we make them in octaves. Most of the time, your left hand will be playing octaves, or your 1 and your 5, leaving the 3 out in order to avoid muddiness. Now, we know that every song we want to play is on our major and minor notes. For example, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Let's play the chord with our left hand and play the melody with our right. Right? So we have Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Very good. Now, how do we understand the melody on our right hand? For example, for Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, the melody on the right will be come again. I will spell out the notes for you. C, C, G, G, A, G, F, F, E, E, D, D, C, which is 1, 1, 5, 5, 6, 6, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Now, the exercise will be for you to play the chords with your left hand and play the melody with your right. Which, if you have done your major scale assignment, you would have gotten some form of independence working with left and right hand. Very good. So let's start the chords with our left hand. We have how I wonder what you are. On our right hand we can play. Another example will be the song we used earlier, Waymaker by the popular artist Sinach. It will be very well. Now, having known our major chords and how to move them around the keyboard, which is our inversions and how to move them, around the keyboard. One other thing we need to know is what is called the seventh chords. Seventh chords. We know our major keys, we know our major chords, our major triads, we know our minor triads. A seventh chord is an extension to our triads. Triads are made up of how many notes? 3 notes that are played together simultaneously. While a seventh chord has 4 notes. 4 notes. Alright. This is our 1, our 3, our 5. Our 7th will be this, which is why it's called a 7th chord, which will be our 1, 3, 5, 7. On the key of C. Now this is a major 7th chord. I'm sure you might have heard this in movies, in songs. For example, something like this. something like that. These are seventh chords. I just played the C seventh and the F seventh. Now, how do you construct your major seventh chord? Your major seventh chord is simply adding your seventh notes to your major triad. For example, we have our major triad here, and we add a seventh. So we have this. We have some of a lush sound. You get it? Now, one thing you may need to consider is the fact that this particular chord has 4 notes means it will have how many inversions? 3 inversions. It will have 3 inversions. So, a triad has 3 notes stacked together, one upon the other, like 1, 3, and 5. And it has how many inversions? 2 inversions. Yeah, it has 2 inversions. But it's a seventh note, a seventh chord has 4 notes with 3 inversions. Very well. Now, if this is the major seventh, it means this will be the first inversion. Taking this up will be that giving us somewhat of a clustered sound. Yeah. The second inversion will be this. Taking these 2 up. Yeah. This here and this here. Giving us some sort of clustered sound too. I'm sure you might have heard this. And the last inversion is now for the last video, for the last lesson, let me just play something with this seventh chord. Yes, that's the seventh chord. So I think that at the end of this video, you have learned what a diatonic scale is, what a major scale is, what a minor scale is, what a triad is, what is the difference between semitone and tone, what are triads, how do we play our different triads on songs, how do we play our melodies, how do we combine our left hand with our right hand, and how do we synergize them together. Thank you very much. I'm once again your coach and your piano tutor, Olaoluwa. See you next time.